So you're in the position of a dating coach because I think you've been on a lot of dates. You did like 52 dates in a year. What's it like?
It's 54 in a year. Yeah,
What's it like
first dates
to go on 54 dates in 1 year?
It's an interesting question because it kind of goes back to what you were just stating. I don't think we really do know what we want ever. I think we just get progressively closer to understanding the vague picture of what we want. And the only way to get more clear with what that picture looks like is by adding puzzle pieces, building out this, like you have the box, right? So you know what it's supposed to look like, but in reality, every repetition or experience, you're adding a piece to the puzzle and you're kind of seeing how it all fits together. And for me, the experience came with, I was in a lot of multiple year relationships when I was younger, and then I got married at 25. I was married for 5 years. 3 years of that were really tough. I went through divorce, moved to Austin to work here at Heart and Soil, and I thought it was damaged goods. I thought it was very broken, but I knew because I set my frame and my foundation, and I was living the mission that I loved at Heart and Soil, and I was very healthy mentally and physically, and for the first time, maybe all three of those things were stacked up, then I knew that this was the time to look for a relationship. And I learned a lot in divorce in these past relationships, but I'd never been in a city before. And the problem with metropolitan areas is there's this grass is greener fallacy. Right. A lot of people are playing games. I'd never been on the app, so I didn't know any of this. And I'm the kind of person that likes to learn through taking action, not so much over analysis and analysis paralysis. So I just said, all right, I'm going to approach women in the public. I'm at the gym, on the trail, when I'm walking at the grocery store, at the gas station. I'm going to get on the apps, and I'm just going to get as many repetitions in as possible. But I need to create a set of rules for myself. So I'm acting not only with integrity, but also efficiency. So I'm respecting my time and the women that I'm interacting with, their time. And so a result of that was in 9 months, I went on 54 first dates. And then I was in a relationship. And then I was out of the relationship and went back to dating. So really, it's probably been 12 total months over the span of, I don't know, 3.5, 4 years of being single. And it was almost 80 first dates now.
Dude, that's wild.
I know, and it sounds exhausting. And some people be like, oh, that's like a humble brag. It's actually not, because it probably took me 40 or 50 of those to understand what I really wanted. I started to build a puzzle enough that I had an intuitive sense in the first 5 minutes of a date if this was someone I should see for a second date. And I think that's where a lot of people trip up because they get on a date, and if they don't feel a spark or a connection, or they haven't had enough repetitions or experience, they think, well, I should probably go on a second, third, fourth date with this person. But I think we know sooner than we're willing to admit. But in order to have that kind of knowledge and that intuitive perception, I think it does require a lot of repetitions and a lot of experience. And so that's what I was after. But my goal along the way, which I know this is long, but is very important for men to hear, is not just to get a repetition. I didn't want to be taking something. I wanted to be mutually beneficial. And so the other part was, how can I also give that same repetition and experience and insight to the woman and the puzzle they're building? And it became mutually beneficial. It was a lot more exciting and a lot less, I wasn't worn down as much, because it was about, how can we help each other as we try to figure out this messy puzzle, which is finding the right person for us? And that's what really lit me up. And that's why I had the endurance to go on all these dates. And I didn't see it as a waste of time or money or attention, because I knew that I was getting a step closer to where I needed to be. And I was growing a lot as a person, more than anything else I've ever done, by going on all these dates. And I knew that I could offer that and help that women do that too. So that's my big thing for guys, is like, see it as an opportunity for mutual growth, not like if it doesn't work out, it's a waste of my resources.
Yeah, so like this reps frame is really useful, but what you're really saying is intentional reps too.
Yes.
So like, to use a bro analogy, not all reps in the gym are equal, right? There's like
so true.
There's like warm-up reps, there's really sloppy reps, and then there's the reps where the growth really happens, when your perceived rate of exertion is like 7+ and you're pushing the edges and you're really dialed in. The mind-muscle connection is on point.
It's like dating hypertrophy is what we're shooting for.
There you go. Yeah, because dating entropy could be very chaotic. So. And I think you said something there that's really important, which is you actually do know. You'll get a keen sense within potentially minutes, if not moments, of like, this has potential or this is a no. And I can still respect and honor that person's time and give them a great experience, but you can only maybe tap into that knowing if you're also doing work outside of racking up the reps and dating, if you are getting fine-tuned with your own instrument. So this is where things like health come in, mindfulness, knowing your own body. Are you completely like locked in your head and playing a game and stuck in, you know, just reps because the dating coach said reps? Or are you like being able to develop some kind of a relationship with something like your intuition, your knowing, your gut feeling, all of that stuff, which is, again, another reason to continue a holistic framework of self-development when you're going through something like this. All right, friends, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Radical Health Radio. We got a fresh new podcast for you every Wednesday. If you enjoyed the show, consider liking, subscribing, reviewing, and rating us on your podcast platform. It helps to spread this message of radical health. We'll see you next week.